High Impact 102.1 FM.
A very, very beautiful Thursday. It is the 25th day in the month of January 2024, and I'm excited to welcome you to Newspaper Review on High Impact 102.1 FM. I am Sarah Oswanza, and I have Tomi here with me in the studio this morning. Good morning, Tomi.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Besides the fact that we are seeing all of this insecurity challenges every day, I would like to get your perspective on what is going on, particularly in the FCT and Plateau State.
It's very scary. It is very, very scary. Sometimes I just don't want to look at the news or read the news or watch anything about news because the consistent thing we're having is the insecurity problems.
Yeah.
And I understand that there was a curfew
In Mangu.
Yes, and we even with that, up on still, we still had bandits, these criminals do
defied
what
it.
Like, what is going on? Are they trying to say that they can do anything they want to do and no one is going to hold them accountable for
It
it?
sends a message, because if there's a curfew in place and these bandits still take it upon themselves that regardless of what the government says, they still attack that community and kill no fewer than 30 people, then it sends a message that they do not have, there's nothing there's nothing that can put them in check at this moment, except our security forces and the federal government, the state government, find strategies to curb this.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like what you said, the security, and they should be strong with that. They should make someone an example. They should make someone an example, and so that when they see that something has happened to this person, I say, okay, I don't think we can do this again. Very, very relaxed. And people's lives, properties are going down the drain because of this negligence.
They are too relaxed, and it's very worrisome. Just as we're having this in Plateau State, in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, the kidnapping, the rate at which people are being kidnapped is on the rise.
Yeah.
And then yesterday there was some sort of explosion in Maitama, Abuja. However, police have come out to call for calm, saying that everything was going to be okay, and urge citizens not to panic, as the explosion was due to an overheated refuse bin. This came just a week after the explosion in Ibadan.
Yeah.
So it is enough for people to be worried.
It is.
A lot of people. I was hearing someone say, "Oh my day!" After the explosion in Ibadan, the person was like, "How are we sure someone at Ilupeju or its environs is not keeping these explosives?" Because in Ibadan, nobody would have thought that would happen. So it's like our lives, our safety. Everything can be jeopardized by just one person. I was at the fuel station yesterday to get fuel, and I was just parked waiting for them to attend to me, and there was this man that also came to buy fuel, and he was receiving a phone call just beside the fuel pump.
Wow.
I had to, because I was very bothered.
Yeah.
That one person can cause damage to lives and property. So I had to, come out, and I'm like, "Sir, what are you doing? This is wrong. You are at the fuel station. You are close to the fuel pump, and you are receiving a phone call." And the fuel attendants were there, and I'm like, "You guys will paste it on your fuel pump, whatever. No phone calls, no smoking. How do we come up with this negligence, and we just do things without thinking about the next person?"
And this same set of people will say that, I'm educated, I went to school, I'm a graduate,
Do you understand?
But you're not even proving that you're educated. You're not proving that you're a graduate or something like that. It doesn't take a school for you to know that
certain things. You're at the fuel station, you have a call and you're picking it. There's no, how many minutes are you spending there?
Fuel station.
And then
can call you back.
If anything happens, it goes off.
That's all.
That's it.
That's all.
So one person, if one person is not careful enough,
Yeah.
it can, cause a lot of havoc
A
to lives
lot,
and
a lot.
properties. But the situation in Plateau State is very concerning. And not just in Plateau State, but Plateau State is, on the heat right
Yeah.
now. Our heart goes out to them. This is the point where now it's obvious that imposing a curfew might not even change anything.
Might not change
So there
it.
needs to be a re-strategizing.
Yeah.
The government needs to look at ways or means to address the situation, because people are killed every day. They can't even sleep. But there's so much to talk about on the review this morning. We'll be taking a look at stories on the front page of The Punch, The Guardian, The Vanguard, and The Daily Trust newspaper. You, our listeners, can be a part of the conversation. You can call us. You can also send us WhatsApp messages when the phone lines are opened right after this break. And later on, we'll be having a conversation with our guest to analyze some of these headlines. Do stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information,
call 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931.
follow us on our social media platforms
At High Impact 1021 FM.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying tuned. You're still listening to Newspaper Review on High Impact 102.1 FM, and right now we delve straight into the papers. But remember, I said you can be a part of the conversation. The number to call us on is 0700-1021-1021. I take that again, 0700-1021-1021. You can send a WhatsApp message to 0907-224-5018. We're streaming live on Twitter, which is now X, at High Impact 1021 FM, and on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM. Tell me, you want to give us the first paper this morning?
Okay. Yes, I have here with me the Daily Trust newspaper, and on the front page of Daily Trust, the major story, Plateau crisis, pregnant woman gives birth in open. Pregnant woman gives birth in open. And we have three riders to that particular headline. It says children missing as death toll rises to 43.
Very sad.
Very, very sad. Sad one on the front page of the Daily Trust. And the second rider says Christian Muslim leaders point fingers at security agents. Christian Muslim leaders point fingers at security agents. We are working hard to restore peace, says Plateau government.
Beyond the Plateau government, I think this is now an issue of national emergency.
It is.
So it has to go just beyond the government. This is a time where the federal government needs to step in. I don't think at this point it should be left to just the government of Plateau State, because the governor Mufti Wang imposed a curfew on Tuesday, a 24-hour curfew, and see what eventually happened regardless of.
It is time, because some people are still calm and thinking that it's not me yet.
I don't have anybody in Plateau State. I'm not affected.
Please, the thing is spreading, and it's spreading fast. We just need to have this security should just be in place, and federal government kindly look into this. Also on the front page of the Daily Trust, it has Ondo governor picks ex-NAS clerk as deputy, dissolves Akeredolu's cabinet. Ondo's governor picks ex-NAS clerk as deputy, dissolves Akeredolu's cabinet. You can see that on page 10 of the paper. Sheikh Yatima Sultan Abdusalami, others profile solutions to insecurity in North. Shatima Sultan Abdul Salami. Others prefers solutions to insecurity in North. We can't wait to see that. We can't wait to see the solutions.
They've been preferring
And
solutions.
maybe this one is different.
Okay.
This one might be. It's yes, 2024. It's a new year. So
Okay.
I'm thinking, I'm hoping, because we all want to see the change. We all want to go back to the Nigeria whereby we are very, very we're very calm.
I can't remember what
And
year that the year
it
that
is-
we experienced.
it is a long time ago. It is a long time
Oh
ago.
my days, because this Boko Haram insurgency started several years back.
Yes. It
And
has
then
been,
it
that's
has
been a while.
grown into so many forms of
Like they have in groups,
headsmen.
they have like organization have branches, you have sublets. It's like they're now trying to, okay, you're not doing anything. We can breathe here, we can breathe there until you now start.
it's
It's
an
just the
epidemic.
complacency of the whole thing. Because if we don't, they said if we don't cut the tree from the roots, if you're just cutting it will
It's
keep
still
growing.
So
It will keep growing. So we just have to look for the root and know how we can stop this. So on the last story on the front page says 24th, the 24th, the Daily Trust Dialogue holds today in Abuja. Edun Ajeru, others analyze Tinubu's reform. Edun Ajeru, others analyze Tinubu's reforms. And you can see that on page 4. And that's all on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper.
Zero 0700-1021-1021 is the number to call. 0907-224-5018 is the number to send your WhatsApp message to. Straight to the Vanguard newspaper. Plateau gunmen defy curfew, kill over 30, raise houses as group alleges compromise by security agencies. Ending insecurity, our cardinal agenda, says Vice President Kashim Shettima. You know, when a curfew is in place, I know that security operatives are put on ground to, to ensure that it is follow through, that people don't breach the curfew.
Yeah.
Now, if the gunmen could still defy this curfew and penetrate that community, what happened to the security apparatus that was put in place to ensure that people oblige?
I think it's very obvious that there were no security men or security
I
personnel.
don't believe that there were no security men. Now, this headline has a rider that talks about how groups are alleging that there was some sort of compromise by security agencies, because there are questions to be asked. Is it that these people came in? Now, if there was some sort of confrontation, or if these people met some security, would have been okay, there was some sort of, but it just feels like there was a sort of smooth entry. So I can't seem to wrap my head around how these people make their way into communities that have been sort of guarded because of the insecurity situation, and still nobody is apprehended.
Exactly. And it's going to go to the head as well, because when they put in places like this, when you take people to different branches or different points, you have someone that will be in charge. Are you there? Are you positioned? Are you already there? What's happening? How many men is on ground? Are your men parading the community? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And everything like that. But you see, there is no. Are we bandits or these criminals just penetrate into this community without even having a gunshot, a fire outrage or something, a battle between both of you, and just killed 30 people, not even one or two or three or 10.
Over 30 houses were razed. You can get details on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. This is not something I well, away from that story, above the nameplate, price of rice up by 81% in 1 year. Onions rise by 123%. If you go to the market to buy onions today, you will see the onions they are selling for 1,000 naira, and you'll be like, where are we headed?
I can't always say this because I'm just smiling, because it's very onion that we buy like 10 for 15 naira or 100 naira, how many then? If you see how
it is
500
like
naira
gold
is like,
now.
it is good. It is good. And if you want, because some people don't buy the small ones, they like buy the big ones,
because the big ones are more
better. The big ones are very expensive. They'll sell one bulb for you. They can sell one bulb for 500 naira, 200 naira. Like, are you joking?
Yeah. Well, that's on page 26 of the Vanguard newspaper. Meanwhile, roads. Federal government meets Elumelu, Dangote, others on PPP. That's a page 8 read. Mainstream takes over $1.3 billion on Geru power plants. Let's get details on page 5. Federal government's revenue trapped in commercial banks. That's coming from the RMAFC. That's a page 25 read. Beside that story, Nasarawa airstrike. Victims still awaiting justice 1 year after. That's coming from Amnesty International. Our justice system in Nigeria, we've always said this thing, it has a lot of questions.
It does.
1 year after, nothing. Even when you hear some NSAS victims also talk, they'll tell you, this happened in 2020. Yeah, NSAS happened in 2020. It's going to be 4 years, October 20th this year, and you'll see that it's still sort of pending, and most times these cases take years. People would even have forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Before you now hear one thing come up, and I think that's a very big problem for us.
It is.
1 year after, the Nasarawa airstrike victims are still awaiting justice. Get details on page 28. Aiyedatiwa picks deputy and sacks cabinet. Ondo State. Get details on page 28. Money laundering charge. Obiano pleads not guilty. Gets bail. The pictorial representation of the former governor in court, but you can get more details on that story on page 14. Law plan to move federal capital to Lagos. There's been a conversation about the relocation of federal agencies, some segments of the CBN, the Federal Airport Authority, and amongst others. And the northern groups have come out to say this move is also a plan to underdevelop the northern part of the country, and presidency has, backed up their decision for this, but they've come out to say there's no plan to move the federal capital to Lagos. That's page 9. Relief coming with more forex and reduced inflation. That's coming from the CBN and NESG. That's a page 20 read. Edo governorship poll. Ighodalo vows to tackle poverty and others. Izeyamu Imose join race. In the world of sports, the last story on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper is the sports story on page 31. AFCON 2023. Cameroon's game with Eagle will be our easiest match. That's coming from Odegbami. I hope that it will be as he has said. But that's it. That's it on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
Yes, you can share your opinions with us by calling us on 0700-1021-1021, 0700-1021-1021, or you can send us a text or a WhatsApp message on 0907-224-5018. I move over to the Guardian newspaper. On the front page of the Guardian, the major story says 1999 constitutions wear and tear. Endless reviews, amendments, cost National Assembly 1 billion naira yearly. Endless reviews, amendments, cost National Assembly 1 billion naira yearly. You can read that on page 6. Time to revamp Nigeria's criminal justice system. Time to revamp Nigeria's criminal justice system. Page 12 has the story. Abubakar Shatima prefers solutions to insecurity. Abubakar Shatima prefers solutions to insecurity. Page 4. CBN targets 21.4% inflation, says Naira is undervalued. CBN targets 21.4% inflation, says Naira is undervalued. Page 18 has the story. Afenifere sacks Adebanjo as acting leader, abrogates a deputy leader position. Afenifere sacks Adebanjo as acting leader, abrogates deputy leader position. You can read that on page 5 of The Guardian. Aiyedatiwa gears up for Guba race, nominates Akeredolu's kinsman as deputy. Aiyedatiwa gears up for Guba race, nominates Akeredolu's kinsman as deputy. 30 people killed in Plateau amid curfew imposed on Mangu Council. 30 people killed in Plateau amid curfew imposed on Mangu Council.
Very sad.
I can't wait to hear the is it the speech, or what would the security agents will actually say after this?
Are they even saying
Because
anything?
like this, like, maybe they will definitely have to say something, because who's going to account for this?
They're not saying anything.
People should be on ground watching these people and putting the coffee. So are you trying to say that the governor, which is the head of the state, doesn't have a say on his security personnel in the state?
I think that's why groups have come out to allege that there seems to be some sort of security breach and compromise, because one thing is certain, a curfew was put in place. Security agencies would have been on ground to ensure that the curfew is strictly adhered to.
Yeah.
So how these bandits, I would like to use that word, penetrated the council regardless of the curfew that was in place, and there was no conversation about some sort of security operatives trying to, engaging in a duel or whatever.
Yeah.
That's where the question comes of, where were the security?
That's what I said.
operatives?
The security operatives will have to say something. Where were they? Were they sleeping? Did they not hear anything that was happening? Because these people, did they come barefooted? Did they come on their legs, or
They
did they come
usually
with
come
something?
with most people
So
will tell you
were they sleeping in that loud or that deep that they didn't hear anything, or what happened? Did they leave their duty post? Were they doing something? We need to hear from them. And the last story on the front page says, special economic zones attract over $66 billion FDIs, 620 billion naira domestic investments. Special economic zones attract over $66 billion FDIs, 620 billion naira domestic investment. And you can read out on page 3 of the newspaper. And that's all on the front page of the Guardian newspaper.
Now, very quickly to the Punch newspaper this morning. Do not forget the phone line to call is 0700-1021-1021. You can also send a WhatsApp message to 0907-224-5018. Straight to the Punch newspaper. Forex scandal. EFCC probes $347 billion funds, summons foreign firms. The riders, industrial companies, banks get lion's share under Emefiele. Social services receive least forex allocation. Anti-corruption agency deepens forex scandal probe. Detectives may grill 5 foreign companies next week. That's on page 31. Above the nameplate this morning, PDP Labour Party asked questions on Tinubu's France private visit. PDP Labour Party asked questions on Tinubu's France private visit. That's a page 30 read. FIRS projects 19 trillion naira revenue in 2024. FIRS projects 19 trillion naira revenue in 2024. Beneath that and beside that story, CBN fan relocation, presidency orders Taku Ndume. That's a page 30 read. There's an pictorial representation of the ex-governor Obiano, on his way to court yesterday. 4 billion naira theft. TFCC lines up 15 witnesses against Obiano. He has been granted bail, by the way. Afenifere demands state police scraps Adebanjo's leadership tied to. That's a page 14 read. 10 Ibadan explosion victims still missing a week after. That's from the Residents Association. That's on page 14. And lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning, Ondo Assembly screens new deputy governor as Ayedatiwa sacks cabinet. That's on page 41 read. And those are the stories on the Punch newspaper this morning. 0700-1021-1021 is the number to call. Send a WhatsApp message to 0907-224-5018. We're streaming live on Twitter, which is X, at High Impact 1021 FM, and on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM. We'll take a break now. When we are back, we'll get into the second half of the conversation. Just stay tuned.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information,
Call 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931.
follow us on our social media platforms.
At High Impact 1021 FM.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Welcome back to the newspaper review on High Impact 102.1 FM, and right now we are joined virtually by our guest, with our guest in person of Adeni Ifetayo, who joins us via phone call this morning. Good morning, Adeni Ifetayo. Thank you for joining us on the newspaper review.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Happy New Year to the listener as well.
Happy New Year. I have Tommy here with me in the studio this morning as well.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Oh, okay, good morning.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's delve straight into the business of the day. It doesn't seem like the conversation around insecurity is going to be off the papers anytime soon. We've been getting it back to back to back. And I would like to, before we go into the details, I would like to get your reaction to the, or your thoughts on the incessant kidnappings going around the country right now. It's no longer just focused in the northern part of the country now, but that's spread to other regions of the country. We'd like to get your thoughts on that for a start.
Anyway, well, the issue of security is a collective issue that concerns even both the governed and the those people who have been elected to govern or to discharge their duty. It's a terrible thing, it's a bad thing, and it's not something that we should politicize. It's something that should be tackled headlong. And of course, the security team, the security apparatus needs to do more, because it seems that we are losing, or the citizens, they are losing confidence in them. Sometimes when people say there are security issue, there's kidnapping and all of that, the first question I will ask, which area, which part of place? I thought, like for example, the FCT is one of the most secured place in the country, apart from our northern part of Nigeria. But now, so many things has been happening. In fact, yesterday, thank God, the journalist from BBC was talking to me that he entered one chance. The way they changed their operation is different from what they used to do and all of that. But I just think it's time they need to be proactive, involve the locals as well, and of course the royal fathers. They know some of these bad gangs, so to say, but because they have not been involved in the governance, they felt that they are just local, they should be there. You know, I think it's high time they involve them as well. You know, so they need to do more. They need to up their game.
Right. I a lot of questions come to mind in regards to our security agencies and our whole security system. And I would like to use Plateau State as an example. The situation in Plateau State is very appalling. Right from the 24th of December 2023, where a massive attack was launched. After then, there's been consistent attacks in Plateau State. It's been over a month now. And on Tuesday, the governor of the state, Muftwang, imposed a curfew on a council in Plateau State, Mangu Council. And one would have thought that curfew would, sort of put things in check. But fast forward to today, we're getting update that despite the curfew, 30 people were reportedly killed, houses were razed, people displaced. Now that begs the question of what happened to the security operatives, because from what we understand, when a curfew is imposed, there are people on ground, security operatives on ground to ensure that it is followed through, there's no breach. So what exactly could we say is going on with the security operatives, that these people were able to penetrate regardless of the curfew, do whatever it is they wanted to do without any form of apprehension?
I think it's just too bad. I want to condole with those who have lost their loved one, the property, and what have you. You know, when there's a curfew, there's this culture in Nigeria, when they impose something, maybe in the next 1-2 days you see the effective, but after a while, people will just go about as if it does not concern them. But that plateau, I think when you say you place a curfew or there's a curfew in place, that is when the security should be on their toes. And that is when, at least in and around that place where things has happened, they should up their game and make sure, things are returned to normalcy, and they should put their eyes in place. I think another thing I want to suggest, that kind of a place in case of future time, I think there are cameras that should be imposed now. There's what they call Google Earth search. Maybe I want to look at location like where you are right now, at least the vicinity, not inside the house. I can use Google Earth search, I want to see how, what's it called, maybe Pangrove or Onipan, what have you, how does it look like? And I can zoom it up with high technology. I think the security also need to improve or invest more in technology. So you can know at what time, what went down, what car passed through a particular place. At least then maybe matchmaking their faces and those the perpetrator of those evil. And also it's also the high time, I'm sure when something happens, it won't just take the life of 30 people like they have in US. They say you call 911, in case of any emergency, and the response should be minimum, should be latest 5 minutes. I think we can do that. We can start gradually.
Do we have the
capital
for communities like this where we know the development rates there? Do you think that there's facility or the technological know-how to put this into force?
Yeah, there should be. It's a will. We have the challenges. You understand, and we should plan how can we deal with it. I'm sure for every local government, there is an administrative local government there, building or complex. You can start from there. And most especially for every local government, at least 1 or 2 police stations are there. Those places can be the operation base of those technology. You understand? Or they call a number. Once they dial this number to this local government, whether the person is can speak or does not have opportunity to speak, there's a way you can trace a number. Those are the things they're supposed to invest on. And if you look at our budget, a lot are devoted or has been devoted to security. So what are they using it for? Is it just to pay salary or to pay overhead? They should invest in both data collection, data gathering, and improve the infrastructure in the area of security. Like someone said, I don't know, but I'll verify, but I think it's true, that in the last 4 years, I'm using Lagos as an example, that there has not been bank robbery. We are not saying there should be bank robbery. Why? Because the state, they invest heavily in security. Some places you don't know in Lagos, there are cameras, and there are grant team. Once they call, there's been infraction in so area, the grant team will move in while there's an area or drone, just to capture the whole thing. That's what we are talking about. If one state can do it, another state can do it.
Right.
And also the issue of a state police should be encouraged.
That was what I just wanted to, jump into state police. And there was a time where the conversation was pretty intense about how, we need to come up with state police. And there was a time where Amotekun and other states had their, architectural structures and all of that. Mm-hmm. But now it seems like those things have, at a point there was a conversation about lack of funding, lack of provision of the necessary amenities, for the state policing to kick off. What exactly do you think should be done at this point in time? Bearing in mind that, for example, what is happening in Plateau State, I think this is now an issue of national emergency and should not just be limited to the state governments to handle it by themselves. How do you think state policing can effectively work at this point in time, seeing how intense this security is?
At this point in time, but I don't know how much time we have. It might digress to another time. I think a very sound Nigeria is high time they license some individual to have guns in their various houses. Not just everybody. There will be a process like 5 different stages for you to have permission to hold guns.
Don't you
Even the kidnapper there.
What are you?
Hold on. Let me just say, okay.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay, like the first stage that I said, for example, now for you to own a gun, the first thing you must do in every local government, there should be a shooting school. Not somewhere. I know every local government there are places that are safe to practice. They will train you, and the second thing, not that where you reside, where the police will check your certificate you got from the school, the medical report you got from the designated medical center, and also they will now, psych you, ask you questions and all of that. The next one is, that's why it comes to the royal, the obas, the king, the emirs, the obi in that particular local government or nearness to local government. They know some bad boys that terrify the community or some places, and that's when he can vouch and say, okay, this person is of a good character. That one too, we also give you a kind of a review, and then you come back to the shooting school. The gun is licensed, the bullet is licensed. That's why all these things happen abroad. For every gun that they shoot, they can trace the bullet, whatever that was given to you. And sorry, let me just quickly wrap it up. Lastly, if somebody knows that if I enter this compound, there's at least somebody that will hold a gun, or I've seen a series that an armed robber operation was going on, and somebody just shoot in the air, and they all ran away. The police pursued them because it's getting out of hand. Not until everybody is killed before we do the needful. Yes, it's the challenges, and we need to face it. We need to face it now. Nip it in the bud.
All right.
Want to say something?
Yes, I would just like to jump on this thing now. You mentioned and explained all of these things that is done in the US, not just the US, actually, other parts of the country, of the world.
Yeah, I'm just using that, yeah.
I need us to understand that Nigeria is a very peculiar nation. Now, I would like to ask this question this way. We know people that did not go to any form of driving school, they probably were taught by a friend, and somehow they have their driver's license. We know people that did not go to school but paid, and they have certificates, and they've gone for the NYSC. So what happens in a country like this where I can just decide to maneuver my way, pay somebody, not go to the shooting school, not go for the psyche test, not go for the medical whatever, and I have the gun?
That's what I said. For example, now, if you want to get a driver's license, you just go to that agency. But it's very difficult for you to compromise about 5 different bodies. You understand?
I beg to disagree.
No, it might be. See, sometimes it's just like you are saying somebody did not know how to do this. It has to do with data as well. You are putting this name, they run it. Even now to get a passport, you can quote me or you can fact check me. To get international passport now is not the era of you sit down at home, then somebody will just do it and they will bring it for you as gone. Your data must be imputed. Your fingerprint must be collected. So that means you must appear unless you have your BVN or your NIN. And whatever, even if it's just a single letter that does not correspond, it will not be issued. So that's what I'm trying to say, that we can do it. Yes, we notice how Nigerians or some people can compromise a system. But by the time we put 5 things in place, you go through it, and at least it might be 1 out of 12 or 1 out of 100. I'm not saying, but please, let's do it. If they know, if kidnapper knows that, if somebody is in this house, there might be probability that he's holding a gun. They too, they don't want to die. The bandit, they don't want to die. The armed robber, they don't want to die. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we are finding ourselves here. It's just plateau last week or this week. Whose town or whose state is next?
Exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, so now you're saying that we can do that, the gun, the stages, and everything. We understand. But why can't we work on what we have now at the moment? We were there when we started this BVN, NIN thingy, and the kidnappers, they make calls to these victims' families. They make calls on ransom, on this and that. And if you don't have your NIN, your SIM card cannot work. So now the question is, we have that one in place, and the security personnel or agents are not tracking these numbers with their NIN. So what is the guarantee that we will actually bring out something that would work with this gun licensing thing, and or when we have something already in place that we're not able to use it at the moment?
I was trying to help a friend who was somebody Duka. So I went to EFCC, and the thing they told me was that, this more money, we can't deploy our resources, go to the police. And when somebody who has been kidnapped or is not, let me put it in quotes, a prominent son or a prominent person, or unless maybe Nigeria, there's a outcry that why did this thing happen? The police are not doing their job. Sometimes when it's a minute case to them, they don't deploy those resources. Okay. If they want to do their job, they will do it.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that's where there's a whole lot of compromise. You understand? You go to the police to report an incident, they will tell you need to drop something, we want to buy fuel before we can follow you, there's no fuel in the vehicle and all of that. Those are the things. They are meant to serve the people. They are meant to serve the community. But I think it's just a bad thing that despite resources being channeled towards them. But I think another thing I also commend Lagos State, if other states can borrow from the same. They have a security special trust fund, or I've forgotten what they call the exact name. So dedicated to the issue of security of life and property. If other states can emulate, not just for their own, what's it called? What do they give governors? So a security vote, just to take care of their paraphernalia, how big, how the convoy they go about up and down and all of that, or just to take care of their pocket. No, is to be devoted, is to manage the security apparatus within the state to make sure the state are safe and sound. So they need to do more. We have the likes of Amotekun and all of that, or other things that we're discussing, especially the state police. It's high time. We have this issue on ground. We have these challenges on ground, and we need to be truthful to ourselves. It's not about you're in PDP or APC or Labour. He's been creeping into another state. Who state next?
Next year.
Or what are we going to hear tomorrow again? So please, they should do the needful. If somebody is kidnapped, deploy all the resources. By the time that one or two people, even there was a time I was just like we are having an analysis. I said, if you can check that, I even made a statement. I said, there's no robber that can rob a bank in Lagos State as of today. I think that should be about 4 years ago, because I have information. Some of the things that have been put in place. If you come, you'll be caught. There's no how you want to go about it. So since they know that, if I do this thing, I'll be caught. I can't go scot-free and all of that. I might die while doing it. They don't want to die, like I told you.
Yeah.
We refrain. They said if you want to catch a thief, you give him a way to escape. When you know that, this thing will be dangerous for me to do, he will think twice and refrain back. So that's what I'm trying to say. They need to put, all hands must be on deck. If you have an intel, you give it to them, and giving it to them, not that they will not be compromised on the part of the police or on the part of the security agents. That's also person tell us, say, now you do it. You understand that?
All
Now
right.
person will now be, yeah.
Adeni Ifetayo, very quickly because of our time, I would like to get your reaction to this issue about ransom. There's been a lot of conversation around it. Some persons are of the opinion that giving ransom to these people, these kidnappers, encourages them to keep doing it. And we've also seen cases where ransom was not given and people lost their loved ones. And there have also been cases where ransom was paid and they still lost their loved ones.
Yeah.
So in cases like this, you say most times dialogue, you should dialogue. Dialogue most times doesn't really yield anything. Even ransom sometimes doesn't yield anything. So what's your perspective on the payment of ransom, or how do you think the victims of these things
Number one, I'm not in support of ransom. And if there's any ransom that will be done, it should be handled with the security. Even for them to be asking for ransom, there's a way you can track them. Technology has gone far.
Exactly what Tommy was asking earlier, that with the way they make calls and all of that, there should have been a way they can even track these people.
Yes. And sometime on the part of our telecommunication company, there was a time they were fined about some hundreds of billion because of some lines that were not cut off, that had not been registered, that these people were using. And also our border too, not just anybody should be given a SIM card or just register SIM card. This thing happened in the border. Before you can say, yes, you can use it to make call, it's been pre-registered, And anyway, I would just advise that the issue of ransom should, even if at all it will happen, it should aid the police to get these criminals, not because we want to give them money and all of that. I've had the issue, my principal, SLA, that's special advisor on legislative matter to Senator Ned Nwoko, he's been kidnapped for like 2 months. We didn't hear anything. We don't know whether he's still alive or he's been killed and all of that. And the police are saying that because he was putting pressure on them, that it was just a case of armed robbery that gone wrong and all of that. So if were to be somebody, an individual that doesn't have that resources, it just say, oh God, we not get things to run this one. No. So everybody should put their hands on deck. They should up their games, and if they are lacking in resources or material, they can talk to journalists. They help them bring the issue to the front burner and to the limelight so that they can discuss it. Because we need Nigeria that is safe.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on these issues. Adeni Ifetayo, it's been a pleasure speaking with you this morning.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
And you too. Bye.
Bye. Talking about technological advancements, I believe that if we utilize this advancement, there's no way. I know sometimes they say, okay, you can hide your number, whatever, what have you, but with the technology we have and security apparatus coming together and these telecommunication organizations coming together, there's a way that you can actually find or track these numbers that are calling. I don't think we should just feel, it doesn't seem like anything. These people call, these people ask for money, money is given to them, and nothing happens.
Nothing is happening. And that's why they have this, they have this leverage, they have this boldness to just do whatever they want to ask for huge amount of money that they know that the next 100 years they can't get it. 700 million, the last one that they killed one of the sisters. 700
million, yeah.
Like, why would you do that? And because, like I said, they've given them this space, this freedom to do whatever they want to do. But if you've gotten someone, you've apprehended someone, you've made someone the scapegoat, you've gone to their den, you've make them say that we can undo this, we are up for this, we are matching with you, then it will reduce. This kidnapping rate will reduce it drastically. So travel is a problem. We can't travel freely again without opening our eyes.
Honestly,
before people travel, they will sleep like
I was even advising people, if it's not necessary, if you can do it virtually, please don't travel.
Please don't travel. And the funny thing is that flights are now ridiculously expensive. So some people don't have a choice but to just go by road because of the huge amount of money that these flights are actually charging for. So I just feel like things should be in place. If it's to go through trainings for the security agents to actually know how to operate this technology, or just get people that can actually operate it for this tech, because we're not seeing this technology working in this security. They're actually working, we know that, but we need to see this fast and quick answers is fast. We need to get someone first. Let them get someone by the hand, and so that these kidnappers, we are matching you back to back. So that's just it.
Right. And that's as much as we can take on the show this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you can follow us across all of our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM and news around the globe. I am Sarah Olson, so have yourself a lovely Thursday.
And I am Oluwatomi Owoborode.